Hey lovelies, today we are going to delve into a very interesting topic, that is interior design mistakes and of course how to fix them. So you might be styling your space, making mistakes here and there that you might not even know about. So today I'm going to be delving into this because we need to figure them out so that we know that we need to fix this. So if you are interested and if you'd love to know and of course style your space better, then stay tuned. I am Faazati Ali, interior designer, and let's not waste any more time and dive right into the video. Now, a very common mistake that I'm gonna talk about fast is not having a clear vision or going ahead and mixing way too many interior design styles. Now, this happens quite often when you do not know exactly what you want in your space. Now, when it comes to interior design, we have several styles. We have contemporary, we have Japandi, modern, traditional, coastal, you name it. There are so many. So you definitely need to identify which style you actually love, which style you actually want to incorporate into your space. And this is very important because this determines the color palette you bring into this space, the characteristics of your furniture pieces, and so much more. So very important, you need to figure out your style. Now, I'm not saying you can't mix styles. You can, and maybe just two styles, and in a very moderate way. So you can mix Japandi with a bit of contemporary. You can mix, glam with a bit of minimalist. They work. But you can't go out there and mix bohemian, Japandi, and glam. Then it becomes way too chaotic. There's too many materials going on, too many different characteristics, and it just might not work. It might just create that messy look that we're trying to avoid. So be very selective with your styles, and even when you choose to mix them, you have to be very careful. And on top of that, have a clear vision. A lot of times, if you don't have a clear vision, you will bring in different items into a space that might not end up working well together to create a composition. So you'll have a sofa from whatever store, you went out, you saw a coffee table online, you bought it. You didn't really think about if they're gonna work together. And once they're all in one space, that's when you're like, oh, well, this is not exactly what I envisioned this space to look like. I thought it would look much better in my head, but clearly that's not how it's turning out to be. So you always need a clear vision. You have to create a mood board. You have to at least have a concept so that you know what you want to create, and that will guide you when you're picking your colors, when you're picking your furniture pieces, and so on. And at the end of the day, this will be a great way to start and achieve a better space. So think about knowing your design style, and of course have a clear vision so that you're on your way to creating a beautiful space. Now, number 2 on my list of mistakes is the wrong scale. Now, this happens quite often when you don't think about proportions in terms of what you bring into a space. When it comes to furniture pieces, if you don't think about scale and proportion, you'll either bring in a sofa that's too large or too small for a space. So it's very important to always check the size of your room, check the size of sofa that will actually fit in this space appropriately. Otherwise, your furniture piece will just look lost in this space, or will make the space feel super small and crampy if it's too big. So this can be your sofa, your coffee table, and so on. When it comes to wrong scale, you also want to think about the size of the rug that you bring into a space. Ensure the rug is appropriately sized such that all your furniture pieces, such as your sofa, accent chairs, at least have their front legs sitting on it. What you want to avoid is a rug that sits in the center of the room like an island on its own, looking lost. That doesn't complete the composition of the room and just looks like it's not meant to be there. So you want to avoid that as well. Something else when it comes to scale is artwork. Always go for large art pieces. This looks a whole lot better. And if you're gonna go for small ones, ensure that you're creating a proper gallery wall in terms of how you design, how you style that wall, how you put them together, the frame you choose, and so on. So very important. Avoid small art pieces, and mostly when they're floating somewhere so high up above the wall, that is also wrong placement, which just ruins the look of a space. So you definitely want to avoid this. So guys, very important to think about scale when it comes to a number of things that you're bringing into a space. This will allow you to create a proper area. Another mistake you definitely want to avoid is having bad lighting. Now, lighting is a very important aspect when it comes to interior design. I always say you can style your space to look amazing, but think about it when it's at night and there's no lights. You can't even see anything. You can't see all the aesthetics you created. So that's how important lighting is. So bringing in lighting is important, and as well having beautiful fixtures. So think about bringing in proper fixtures when it comes to styling the space, and avoid dim lighting. This just always makes a space feel dull and less cozy. So that is something you definitely want to avoid. So have ample lighting, and this should be your general light, and pick proper lighting fixtures for this. And of course, go ahead and layer this by adding floor lamps and adding wall sconces, maybe table lamps, and so on. So always ensure you have general lighting, you have accent lighting, which would be the ones that light up your artwork and things like that. And also ensure you have task lighting. Now this is important because it allows you to perform specific tasks, such as in the kitchen when you're working on the counters. You can go ahead and have a cabinetry light and so on. Lighting is important. So if you mess this up, then a lot of your design is not going to be seen, and it's going to ruin the final look of your space. So always ensure lighting is in the forefront of your design plan, so that you can incorporate it appropriately into the space. Now, another mistake a lot of people might make without even realizing it is having no contrast. So when it comes to contrast allows you to at least layer materials in such a way that makes a space look more interesting. If you don't have contrast, it means you might be creating a space that might feel a bit dull and flat. Maybe all your materials are the same, all your colors are the same. It's not going to be as interesting. So what you want to do when you're creating contrast is probably layer things. So maybe in your kitchen have woody cabinets, black cabinets, or have a black vase in front of a white wall. This creates contrast that is quite interesting and adds quite a lot of depth into any space. Now this can also be used when it comes to textures. Play around with different textures so that you're also adding some contrast in the space. Play around with different patterns, have bold ones, have plain finishes, so that when put together they create a beautiful layer in the space. Now this also comes to metal finishes or your finishes such as tiles. You can have matte ones, you can have glossy ones. This can be in your kitchen. You can have matte finish, you can have metal finishes. Play around with different textures and materials in any space to create a space that looks a whole lot more wholesome. So it's very important to always think about contrast. Don't just have plain materials all through. Don't have all your throw pillows in plain material. Ensure that some of them have texture, some of them have pattern, some of them have bold colors. This will all work together better to create a lot of depth and interest in the space. Now, one final major mistake I'm going to be talking about is over decorating. Now, you might be wondering, can I really over decorate? I'm just trying to style the space. Well, you definitely can. Sometimes you walk into spaces and there's just so much of accessories sitting everywhere, all over the cupboards, all over the coffee table. There's a lot going on. You don't even know where to place your eyes because the wall is full of frames. You're trying to look at that. At the same time, your attention is grabbed by the wallpaper on the side. That's not enough. You have souvenirs of different items sitting on the coffee table, and it's just a lot to take in. When it comes to interiors, even when you're detailing, even when you're accessorizing, you have to keep it minimal. Simplicity is always best. That's the rule. So only pick a few items that are important to put out there. Unless you're going with bohemian style, please guys, let's keep it simple and minimal. This looks a whole lot better. So always ensure that when you're accessorizing, you have few items that actually work with the space, that work with every other item, that create a great composition with all the other pieces in the room, and that you're not overdoing it. It's very easy to overdo it, mostly if you're somebody who loves to travel and every souvenir you come back with has to be placed in the living area. Please, let's not do that. Let's just pick a few items, vases, some dummy books, and when it becomes too much, let's just put these other items away. This will definitely give you a more cleaner look that will in the end look a whole lot better. So completely avoid over decorating. So guys, those are my top 5 interior design mistakes that I feel like a lot of people might make without even realizing it. I hope you got to learn something and will be able to fix these mistakes in your homes, and you'll be on your way to achieving a better place to live in. And of course guys, do feel free to let me know if you know about any other mistakes that are commonly made. Let me know in the comment section below. I would also love to learn from you. Anyway guys, thank you so much again for taking your time to watch this video. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'll be truly grateful. And see you next week, inshallah, with another video. Love you guys so much. Bye bye.